Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Villain. From Scorpion Dragon to the Strongest Dragon Emperor. Chapter 61. Buddha's Fury Killer Move. It was Xiao Fan's biggest hole card. As the protagonist and the son of luck, Xiao Fan, in addition to the ring grandfather, is actually his real gold finger. In the past, no matter how strong Xiao Fan's enemy is, as long as this trick is used, as long as the opponent encounters it, they will basically peel off without dying. Then basically the war can be ended. It can be said. This killer move was Xiao Fan's unfavorable big killer when he fought even higher. It is precisely because of the confidence in the Buddha's Fury ultimate move. Xiao Fan was so confident that he dared to fight Su Lai again with a disadvantaged situation. However, he didn't expect. Su Lai's eyesight is so vicious. He had the first opportunity and didn't give him any chance to use the ultimate move. Void Sky. Watching Xiao Fan vomiting blood with cold eyes. Su Lai's eyes are even more cruel. Although Dao Huo is strong, it depends on whose hands it is. What he said, it's not showing off, it's just stating a fact lightly. Xiao Fan's glazed sacred heart flame was a fusion of the existence of two types of Dao Huo, and at the same time, he sacrificed a third type of Dao Huo. If it's just like Dao Huo, Su Lai refined the 3000 starry sky Long Yan sub Huo, far less than Xiao Fan's three kinds of Dao Huo. But, Xiao Fan always has one of the biggest shortcomings. That is the cultivation base. Under the template of the protagonist of the Wastewood Flow, the enemies he encounters are basically better than him. And Xiao Fan could only borrow the power of Grandpa Ring. Su Lai is different. His strength is all his own strength. With the advantage of the Traverser, Xiao Fan's trump card, Su Lai knows better than Xiao Fan himself. Therefore, naturally, it is impossible to give Xiao Fan any chance. Make up his mind, Su Lai will never let Xiao Fan have a chance to breathe again, vowing to bury him in this pill domain. Kill. With that, Su Lai's figure suddenly rushed out. People are in the void, and the boundless silver dragon flame is permeating, all condensed behind Su Lai. In an instant, stars and thousands of ways, unleashing a terrifying killing. ... Boom. Seeing this, Xiao Fan didn't dare to hesitate, and immediately resisted it with Luli Sacred Heart Flame. Suddenly the sky over the second city was swept by the fire. Die. Su Lai let out a low growl, and suddenly, the undead ancient dragon in the shape of fire suddenly broke through the resistance of the glazed Sacred Heart Flame. Although the silver brilliance on the undead ancient dragon is not as good as the new Dao Huo after the fusion of Xiao Fan's two Dao Huo, despite the collision of Dao Huo, Yin Huo is a little bit dim. But still immortal, he slammed into Xiao Fan. Wow! Xiao Fan vomited blood for the third time. Although possessing the power of the soul of Venerable Tianyi and the strength comparable to that of Venerable, he has been attacked by Su Lai twice. At this time, he was completely seriously injured. Finally, with a pouch, Xiao Fan's glazed sacred heart fire was completely broken, revealing the figure of Xiao Fan. Impressive. At this moment, Xiao Fan's face was as thin as paper, not only pale, but also sluggish. See it. Su Lai, who deeply understands the truth when you are ill, makes up another killer move. Contains lethal murder. Roar. An ancient dragon of Dao Huo that looked like a substance, roared. This moment, Xiao Fan was horrified, and his whole body was like falling into an ice cave. Wait. But at this moment, Dan Xuanzi's hurried and frustrated voice finally sounded. Let Xiao Fan go. As you said before about refining Dao Huo, the old man, as a Holy Land giant, promises you. Dan Xuanzi's bowing of his head was beyond everyone's expectations. Including Su Lai. As the giant of Danyi Holy Land, anyone can see the pride in Dan Xuanzi's heart. Will never bow to others easily. Although Zhongzhou is big, the sky is big, but who is worthy of his Dan Xuanzi bowing his head? Never thought about it. Today, Dan Xuanzi actually bowed his head to Su Lai. For the sake of the situation in which their holy land has been completely defeated, for Xiao Fan, for this old friend of his past. Dan Xuanzi chose to bow his head after all. Pity. Dan Xuanzi overestimated the importance of Dao Huo to Su Lai. In other words, he underestimated the murderous intent of Xiao Fan in Su Lai's heart. If Xiao Fan did not appear, then Su Lai may be able to give up fighting to the end with Danyi Sacred Land because of Dao Huo. But now that Xiao Fan appeared, Su Lai couldn't let him go. Because, as the protagonist of Qi Luck, Xiao Fan had too many unstable factors. You can't imagine how many earth-shaking good fortune and luck exist behind a child of luck. As a villain, Su Lai can't leave herself a disaster. Today's battle, Su Lai has all kinds of advantages, and just now has such a good opportunity to kill Xiao Fan. How can he allow anyone to destroy it? If the fire is gone, you can kill the pill domain again. But let Xiao Fan run away. Next time, it will be Su Lai who will die. Undoubtedly, in Su Lai's eyes, anything can be discussed, only Xiao Fan. For him, there is no room for negotiation. Must die. ... Madman. Seeing Su Lai, Dan Xuanzi ignored his lowered head, his face changed in an instant. If it weren't for the 3 elders of the Heavenly Demon Palace to stop it, he is bound to take action against it. In fact, in Dan Xuanzi's opinion, he has already given way to this point today, and even more so in front of everyone. He agreed to Su Lai's request. As long as Su Lai's mind is normal, he will definitely choose to reconcile. Even though, today Su Lai preemptively struck Danyi Holy Land by surprise and took the upper hand. But Danyi Holy Land is Danyi Holy Land after all. In the days to come, it will also retaliate and counterattack back. At that time, where did the Scorpion Dragon clan gather so many venerable combat power? So, Su Lai accepts as soon as he sees it is the wisest choice. But by the way, Su Lai turned his face without warning. Ignore his head down. It was even more like a vow to kill Xiao Fan and never give up until the goal was reached. How can this tell him not to be angry? Damn it. For an instant, Xiao Fan also gritted his teeth, extremely uncomfortable. In front of Su Lai, he always had an unspeakable weird feeling, as if he had been seen through by the other party a long time ago. Are you going to die? Unwilling. Xiao Fan was extremely unwilling at this time. Even he knew very well that he was too frustrated to lose in this battle. Not only did the whole cards in his hand be consumed one by one, even his biggest whole card, Buddha Fury's killer move, was easily discerned by Su Lai. This battle, he is simply standing on an unequal condition with the other party. How does this make Xiao Fan willing? How can it be? As the owner of Daohuo, how can he be so strong? Xiao Fan roared wildly in his heart. Cold sweat was already dripping from his back, and the impact of today's battle was too great. He was in Su Lai's hands, and it was so difficult even to escape for his life. Stop. Up to this time, the only female giant among the 3 giants of Dan Xuanzi finally vacated his hands from the elder of the Heavenly Demon Palace. She has the best relationship with Venerable Dan. Now the whereabouts of the latter is unknown, and the only disciple who knows his whereabouts is about to be killed by Su Lai. How can she bear it? A terrible murderous intent suddenly rose up, and it was about to be shot immediately. Attempt to stop Su Lai from beheading Xiao Fan. Roll. However, Su Lai thought, 3,000 starry sky Long Yan, instantly swept the entire void sky. And he himself was in the void covered by Dao Huo, like a galaxy lacing, continuing to kill Xiao Fan. Roar. Just at this moment, a sky-shaking dragon roar suddenly sounded. Immediately, between Su Lai and Xiao Fan, a petite figure suddenly appeared. Boom. Su Lai Daohuo condensed, and the Daohuo ancient dragon that turned out suddenly hit the figure that suddenly appeared. Instant time. I saw Su Lai's Daohuo killing, falling on the opponent, and a dull buzzing sound instantly sounded. Above the void, there is no shortage of people who have some vision. They clearly knew that at this moment, in front of Xiao Fan, above the petite figure, was actually filled with purple golden scales. And Su Lai's Daohuo offensive was completely resisted by these scales. Is it still a step slower? Su Lai's expression remained unchanged when he saw this. He seemed to have expected this abrupt appearance, and was not surprised at all. Now, Su Lai appeared suddenly, and under Su Lai's lore, he rescued Xiao Fan. It is a real ancient dragon. The girl who rescued Xiao Fan in front of her. Su Lai is no stranger. In a sense, this girl is a dragon girl from the Taishu ancient dragon clan, which is missing. It is clear, since it was the routine of Lost Out, it was clearly prepared for the Son of Luck. In fact, it is true. This dragon girl of the ancient dragon clan is also one of Xiao Fan's confidant and comrade in arms. Su Lai had originally prevented the appearance of this dragon girl. After all, he himself is of the blood of the Scorpion Dragon clan, and the opponent is the upper-level Ancient Dragon clan, so the suppression of the bloodline is not a joke. Did not expect. At this moment, the dragon girl still appeared here. Shuttle through the void. Long Lin Jia. This little girl turned out to be from the Taishu Gulong clan. Aside, all the people who were fighting had their pupils shrunk, and they recognized the origin of the other party for the first time. Dragon Scale Armor. This is exactly the defensive skill that all members of the Taishu Gulong clan can possess. And besides, the Taishu Ancient Dragon clan all possess the ability to traverse the void with their flesh at will. Combine these, it is not difficult for them to guess the identity of the dragon girl. Certainly, as the four great Scorpion Dragon Kings, the eyesight is more vicious. As an affiliate of the Ancient Dragon clan, they are even more aware that the defense of the dragon girl in front of them is not an ordinary dragon scale armor, but the highest level ancient dragon armor. This requires the blood of the king of the ancient dragon clan to be able to condense. How can it be? That kid is actually related to the bloodline of the king of the ancient dragon clan. Who can think of it? It's just the grudge between Su Lai and Danyi Holy Land. In the end, not only Xiao Fan, a freak with 3 kinds of fire, but also the blood of the king of the ancient dragon clan. Have to admit it, this time and time again, even they are all astounded. Think about it, their eyes also turn to Su Lai involuntarily. The royal blood of the ancient dragon clan, this kind of existence must preserve Xiao Fan. They are a little worried, with Su Lai's character, whether they will buy it. Based on their knowledge of Su Lai. Not to mention the ancient dragons, but the heavenly king Laozi is here, and the people he wants to kill will never compromise easily. From their point of view, Danyi Holy Land, they will kill Danyu, but the ancient dragon clan, they dare not. Because they are the sub-races of the ancient dragon clan. Since ancient times, in the world of monsters and beasts, there are few subsidiary races that dare to conflict with the blood of the ancestors. This is troublesome. It's worthy of being the protagonist of the Wastewood Flow, and the confidants around me one after another. If you can't fight for strength, you can also fight for women. Su Lai sighed. This is the treatment of the protagonist script. As the protagonist, Xiao Fan, his confidants are one after another, and the most terrifying among them is not the dragon girl of the ancient dragon clan in front of him. Behind him, there is a childhood sweetheart who grew up together. That is even a goddess of the imperial clan. But even so, the killing intent in Su Lai's heart became more and more turbulent. But today, what about the dragon girls of the ancient dragon clan? I will kill you. Thoughts flickered. Su Lai's speed, without any delay, once again brazenly shot. At the same moment, the angry voice of the dragon girl also sounded along with it. Scorpion Dragon, I am the prince and daughter of the Taishu ancient dragon clan, do you dare to attack me? Asterisk. Now, Taishu Dragon Girl's situation is obviously not uncomfortable. Even though, with the defense of the ancient dragon armor, Taishu Dragon Girl took Su Lai's attack, but the Daohuo breath that penetrated into her body still made her body qi and blood churning. Daohuo's offensive. Even if she can rely on the magical defense of the ancient dragon armor, she cannot be completely immune. Su Lai heard this. Then he smiled calmly, and in his indifferent eyes, a hint of sarcasm flashed. The Taishu ancient dragon clan is already torn apart, do you still want to use it to crush me? If you let him and the 3 big dragon islands know that you are here, what would you say to them? You, smell this. The dragon girl's always violent eyes flooded with panic. She originally intended to borrow the name of the Taishu Gulong clan to squeeze Su Lai and create opportunities for Xiao Fan. Never thought about it. Su Lai didn't take her seriously at all. In fact, she was also the Taishu ancient dragon who had just returned, and she had some understanding of the Taishu ancient dragon. Naturally, I also know the eyes of the 3 dragon islands. It's just that she didn't expect Su Lai to have such a clear understanding of the Taishu Gulong clan. Even under the full view of the public, the troubles of her Gulong clan were directly exposed. Don't forget, there is still the true Phoenix clan in the scene at this moment. As predicted, after I heard the civil strife of the Taishu Gulong clan, the eyes of the 2 great sages of the Zhengwang clan flashed by. Unexpectedly, the Gulong clan still has such secrets, but they have done a great job keeping secrets. No one in our monster beast realm knows that they are facing infighting. Thought of this, the two great sages of the true Phoenix clan only felt that it was the wisest choice to accompany Sulai to kill the pill domain today. Today's killing is worth it. Not good. The corner of his eye glanced at a few people from the true Phoenix clan, and a bad thought flashed in the heart of Taishu Dragon Girl. By now, if she still can't react, then she will be the prince and daughter of the Taishu Ancient Dragon clan. However, without waiting for her to refute, a time of hesitation. Sulai is already doing it again. Boom, the entire sky full of flames, instantly brightened, gorgeous and dazzling. A fierce killing suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Fan, pointed directly at Xiao Fan. The killing air rushes into the sky, it can be called horror. ... This guy, it was determined to kill me. Xiao Fan instantly understood how wrong he was. He thought it. When he faced Sulai, the scorpion dragon beast, even if he was lost, he was enough to protect himself. Now that the cards are exhausted, it is still hard to escape the opponent's killer. Now, even the prince and daughter of the Taishu Ancient Dragon clan appeared, and under the suppression of the blood of the monster beast, they couldn't stop Sulai's murderous intentions. This guy is simply a lunatic. Have to say, Xiao Fan felt a little regretful in his heart, regretting that he would come to this muddy water. Too late to regret. Xiao Fan also subconsciously responded when he was alive and dead. Escape. As soon as he thought about it, he was running the colored glaze sacred heart fire crazily, rushing forward at an extremely fast speed. Want to avoid Sulai's mortal blow. Obviously. Although Xiao Fan's move a bit extinguished his prestige, it was definitely the most correct choice. And this is what Xiao Fan has accumulated through countless fights. In front of life, what makes the invincible general trend, not taking a step back, is imaginary. He is the protagonist of the Waste Would Flow, not a dark and turbulent savior template protagonist. A dog's life matters, and a strategic escape is nothing. Dragon Girl, save me. Sensing Xiao Fan's call for help, Taishu Dragon Girl didn't hesitate, and the ring in her hand glowed, and a rune made by the ancient dragon god gold poured out in her hand. She raised her hand, and the dragon seal was thrown out. Seeing that dragon seal, Sulai's pupils suddenly shrank. This dragon seal, it is the rune planted by the blood of the king in the ancient dragon clan, and it is the most important means of life-saving. Sulai didn't expect that in order to save Xiao Fan, this Taishu Dragon Girl did not hesitate to throw out all her life-saving methods. Sulai hardly needs to think about it. It is clear that once he breaks this dragon mark, the ethereal ancient dragon clan is naturally able to travel through the void, and the ancient dragons and old monsters in its clan will instantly follow the dragon seal coordinates and come. The fire flickered. Sulai had a decision in an instant. Just grab it. Sulai grabbed the dragon seal in his hand to prevent it from being shattered. And take it away. However, just such a moment of effort. Taishu Dragon Girl's whole body has already burst out a boundless vanity light. Then, the body of a Taishu ancient dragon suddenly changed. The bloodline of the top king with great horror, even the two great sages of the true Phoenix clan, felt a sense of tremor. Silently, in the void beside Xiao Fan and Taishu Dragon Girl, a black whirlpool quietly emerged. This whirlpool, it actually released an endless mysterious aura, seeming to be a coordinate connecting time and space. Sulai's killing of Xiao Fan was instantly blocked the moment the black whirlpool appeared. Space channel. Sulai's eyes shrank. Surprisingly, what appeared before his eyes was the space talent of the Taishu ancient dragon clan. Shuttle in the void. It can reach thousands of miles away in an instant. This is the true assassin of the Taishu ancient dragon clan, involving the extraordinary talents of shuttles in the void. Xiao Fan, go. Taishu Dragon Girl didn't dare to hesitate. After paying so much price, she still dared to stay there. In fact, without being reminded by the Dragon Girl, Xiao Fan took a quick step at the moment the spatial passage was formed. He was about to rush into the space passage of Taishu Ancient Dragon. However, at this moment, Sulai's indifferent transmission sounded directly in Xiao Fan's ears. Xiao Fan, the body of Xiaoyao Shantian poison body, don't you want it anymore? This moment, Su Lai's words set off stormy waves in Xiao Fan's heart. Let him be determined, but at this moment, Su Lai's words seemed to grab his weakness and brazenly tore his mind. Little Yaoshan. Especially when Xiao Fan heard what Su Lai said, Xiao Yaoshan had only a corpse left at the moment, making him almost crazy. What did you do to her? He got it. He finally understood why Su Lai was so serious about him. It must be learned from Xiao Yaoshan how to control the sky poison body, one of which is to need the magic core of the 7th order sky poison dragon beast. So, that's why he would be so reluctant to kill him. Based on his understanding of Xiao Yaoshan, the latter is bound to be impossible to sell to him. Now there is such a result. There is only one explanation. Maybe something happened to Xiao Yaoshan. After all, Su Lai's ability to name Little Yaoshan and the heavenly poison body is enough to show that he must have been in contact with Little Yaoshan. With Su Lai's strength, it was too difficult for Xiao Yaoshan to escape his life. In my mind, a gentle white figure surged into Xiao Fan's heart. This moment, Xiao Fan's eyes were completely blood red, losing all his sanity. Su Lai, I am going to kill you. Motivated by Su Lai. Xiao Fan was completely mad at the moment. As the protagonist of the template of Waste Wood Flow, Xiao Fan's persona is obviously a protagonist who emphasizes love and righteousness. Therefore, after Xiao Fan heard of Xiao Yaoshan's corpse, he would never allow it. This is Su Lai's purpose and his calculation. Go. At this moment, Taishu Dragon Girl couldn't help screaming a little, urging Xiao Fan. She also knows Xiao Yaoshan. But at what time is it? They are overwhelmed by themselves. Xiao Fan actually wanted to kill him back. Are you crazy? Thinking like this, the Taishu female dragon's tail swept away, and she wanted to take Xiao Fan away. However, it's too late. Su Lai is not trying to fight Xiao Fan as a person, betting on whether he will stop. It was a gambling on Xiao Yaoshan's position in his mind. What Su Lai wants is just this moment. That is it. Facts have proved that Su Lai was right, the protagonist of the Waste Wood Flow. As expected, the weakness is also obvious. It's worthy of being a passionate species. Boom. At the moment when Xiao Fan was stunned, Su Lai was already at this moment, catching up. In a blink, the terrifying Dao Huo had appeared above Xiao Fan's head, blocking his chance of entering the space channel. All of these, a lot seems to happen. But in fact, it just means that the time is too late and the time is fast, and it only happens in an instant. Boom, an extremely terrifying aura burst out from Su Lai. Such a critical moment. No matter it is the Taishu Dragon Girl or the Big Three Danxuanzi, no one can have time to save Xiao Fan. And at this moment, Xiao Fan seemed to be aware of his own situation. For the first time in his life, he was so close to death. Looking at Su Lai's cold face, there was also a sudden rush of craziness in his tough eyes. Humph, if you want me to die, come and be buried with me. The crazy color in Xiao Fan's eyes kept surging, and he didn't care about the others. I don't know who he was talking to. My God, give me 3 breaths. Hey, my little friend, it really gave me a problem. Immediately afterwards, the breath of Xiao Fan fell down with a terrifying Su Lai. Early stage of the 7th stage. This is Xiao Fan's real cultivation base. Instead, in the position in front of Xiao Fan, a light flashed, and an illusory figure appeared. It was Xiao Fan's second ring grandfather. Venerable Tianyi's soul body. 3 breaths. Venerable Tianyi secretly thought, with his current strength, it would be nice to be able to hold Su Lai for a while. As for the 3 breaths, it is simply an impossible task. But, Venerable Tianyi also knew the current situation. If he couldn't stop Su Lai, both he and Xiao Fan would have to die. Immediately, Venerable Tianyi decided to burn his soul. Fight the price of falling asleep. Protecting Xiao Fan quickly retreated, not daring to squat with Su Lai easily. Roll. Facing this obstacle, Su Lai's words are extremely strong. This moment, Venerable Tianyi actually has the illusion that Su Lai sees through it, shocking his heart. Ha! Su Lai's right hand turned into a giant flame palm, sweeping the soul of Venerable Tianyi, squeezing it fiercely. Dao Huo, violent to the extreme, annihilated everything in an instant. In a breath, Venerable Tianyi's soul body was burned. Spike. This is a real spike. Venerable Tianyi, fallen. This grandfather of Xiao Fan's gold finger, although the online is very short, undoubtedly has a lot of help to Xiao Fan's rise. Also at this moment, his soul was completely annihilated and completely dead. I am afraid that even he himself did not expect that today, not only will he not be able to wait for the resurrection anymore, he will even have his life in it. Seeing the fall of Venerable Tianyi, Su Lai's eyes were so calm that there were no waves. My God, Xiao Fan's eyes became crimson in an instant, and he was extremely crazy. First is Xiao Yaoshan, then Tianyi Venerable. He is really going crazy. But unfortunately, Su Lai doesn't care if Xiao Fan is crazy or not. What he wants. It was Xiao Fan who died. After solving Venerable Tianyi, Su Lai's figure was no longer obstructed. Appeared in front of Xiao Fan's eyes. Su Lai's expression was calm, and there was an extremely cold light flashing in his eyes. It's your turn. The voice falls. Su Lai is full of silver brilliance, 3,000 stars surround her body. Presents endless killing domains. Then, all fell on Xiao Fan's body. Puff. Suffering such a deadly attack, Xiao Fan's face instantly paled, and a mouthful of blood mist burst out. Venerable Tianyi's 3 breaths only lasted 1 breath. Now Xiao Fan has suffered such terrifying murderous intent again, and has been hit hard by a near fall. The time for the third interest has not come. Xiao Fan had no time to explode the Buddha's Fury Killer move, the Buddha's Fury Killer move in his hand, the Daohuo energy that had not yet been completely stabilized, suddenly swept away. Swallowed Xiao Fan's entire figure. Xiao Fan. Taishu Dragon Girl's face changed drastically. Watching this scene, her eyes were cracked, she was crazy instantly. Danyi Holy Place. The 3 giants of Dan Xuanzi also growled lowly, echoing in the void for a long time. Xiao Fan. On the side, the 4 kings of the Scorpion Dragon clan who have the absolute upper hand. Looking at Taishu Dragon Girl, her eyes were dull, and she muttered, "This guy really killed that Xiao Fan." Then Taishu Gulong clan is not easy to provoke. Hey, in an instant, as if confirming everyone's thoughts, above the void, the endless fire exploded. Boom. The Buddha's Fury Killer move that Xiao Fan failed to complete broke out in an extremely terrifying fire. In his battle with Su Lai, the places that the naked eye can see are filled with terrifying fire, as if the world was destroyed. Above the void sky, at this time, not only Su Lai and Xiao Fan's battle circle, but also all the venerables in the rest of the battle circle were affected. This moment, the entire void seemed to be overthrown by Daohuo. The boundless fire and explosion of air suddenly drowned Su Lai and Xiao Fan. Only the energy of Daohuo is constantly filling. That terrifying picture makes everyone's face change drastically, and the battle circle retreats and retreats again and again. Obviously, at this moment, Xiao Fan Daohuo was out of control, completely beyond everyone, understandable. What is playing with fire and self-immolation? This is really playing with fire and self-immolation, and really playing Daohuo out of control. So much, even the 3 great magnates of Danyi Holy Land and the elders of the Heavenly Demon Hall dare not get involved easily. What's the result? Who won? The fire is in the air, I can't see the results inside, I don't know if Xiao Fan is dead or not. Now, regarding what is going on in the fire of Dao, everyone has different thoughts. Too horrible. It depends on whether Xiao Fan can drag Su Lai to hell together. Daohuo is out of control. The storm that burst out swept across the world. And the 2 auras of Su Lai and Xiao Fan quickly became clear. Boom. After blinking, a figure in the field suddenly flew out, blood-stained in the void. It's Xiao Fan. There is no doubt that the owner of this figure is Xiao Fan. Thump. Immediately, at this moment, Xiao Fan could no longer support his figure, and fell from the void. Awesome. At this moment, Xiao Fan's Qi, 810, force gradually pulled away. The vitality that belonged exclusively to Xiao Fan also quickly dissipated, no longer the vitality it had before. Instead, it was a kind of lost decadence. The fire spread, revealing the void, another figure standing proudly. It is Su Lai. At this moment, Su Lai is breathing fast, the dragon wings behind his back are instigated, his body is straight, standing proudly in the void, like an invincible god of war. Overlooking Xiao Fan at his feet. La, an extremely indifferent voice sounded from Su Lai's mouth. Isn't this dead yet? For this result, Su Lai is not surprised. As the protagonist of the waste stream, Xiao Fan's vitality, Su Lai knows well. Such people. Basically, he is immortal, even with only one breath, he can recover by virtue of the heaven-defying adventure. Not dead. However, Su Lai only sneered at this. It seems that if you want to kill the protagonist, you still can't let him have a whole body. Immediately, the look in his eyes was cold. If this is the case, then you will be frustrated. The voice falls. Su Lai not only did not hesitate, even his killing was more violent than before. You dare. Feeling Su Lai's terrifying fire that contained the final lore, Taishu Dragon Girl's pretty face changed color again. However, Su Lai's lore has been accumulated for a long time, and no one has the ability to react. Boom! Su Lai's terrifying blow, without any fancy, fell on Xiao Fan. That terrible power of Daohuo directly burned the ground. In Manfan's current situation, he could not withstand such a terrifying attack at all. I can't even find a whole body. The dead can't die again. Xiao Fan, Taishu Dragon Girl's beautiful eyes, at this moment, it seems that they have lost all their looks. She couldn't believe that Xiao Fan was actually real. Fallen. Moreover, it is a real death without even the bones. Taishu Dragon Girl stared at this scene blankly. In front of her, Su Lai actually brutally killed Xiao Fan. Although, Su Lai's final killing and Xiao Fan's loss of control made her vaguely guess the outcome of this battle. Even in his heart, he has already faintly prepared for it. But, now I suddenly saw Xiao Fan, with such a miserable posture, dying before my eyes. Taishu Dragon Girl is still a little unbelievable. She can't believe. Since his debut, he has always stirred up the situation in the world, fought by leapfrogging, and created a guy who belongs to his own legend. It's really dead. That guy who is good at creating miracles and being strong and invincible along the way. It's really dead. This town won't. Taishu Dragon Girl's eyes are red, and her eyes are full of tears. Bastard of the Scorpion Dragon. You actually killed Xiao Fan, I want to kill you. Now, above the void, the Heavenly Demon Palace, the Dragon Race, Danyi Holy Land, and the three-way chaotic battle have also been suspended due to the violent collision between Su Lai and Xiao Fan. Therefore, after seeing the Taishu Dragon Girl who suddenly became a little crazy, they all looked at each other. And as a party, seeing the crazy Taishu Dragon Girl, Su Lai smiled. Next moment, I saw Su Lai's eyes, with a cold light, and said faintly, "Is it up to you?" There is no denying it. Taishu Dragon Girl, as the bloodline of the king of the ancient dragon clan, her future is indeed extremely terrifying. But now she hasn't grown up yet. Even if there is the suppression of the ancient dragon bloodline, the Dragon Girl is not Su Lai's opponent. Boom. Without the slightest nonsense, looking at the Taishu ancient dragon who was killed on the face, Su Lai pointed it out suddenly. Suddenly, 3,000 starry sky dragon flames gushed out, unleashing a devastating wave of Daohuo, roaring and killing the Taishu Dragon Girl. What? King Lai, he dared to kill the Dragon Girl. Scorpion Dragon sighed. Although Su Lai had just learned from the words with Taishu Dragon Girl, they already knew some clues. But this scene really happened before my eyes. Not only everyone from the Dragon Clan, but even everyone from the true Phoenix Clan, can't help but stir up an uproar in their hearts. Incredible. They really couldn't imagine that Su Lai actually shot the Taishu Gulong clan. With a crash, the violent power of Daohuo directly forced the Taishu ancient dragon to retreat. Suddenly, a mouthful of dragon blood spurted out. Looking at the Taishu ancient dragon on the opposite side, Su Lai's eyes once again brought a murderous opportunity. You're equals. Taishu ancient dragon, what counts? In front of his own life, let alone the Taishu Dragon Girl, even if the old monsters of the ancient dragon clan came, Su Lai would not be soft. This is Su Lai's character. Either don't do it. If you want to do it, you must do it absolutely. Su Lai naturally knew the consequences of beheading Manfan. But since he dared to cut, he was not afraid of the flood afterwards. Anyway, he had already cut Xiao Fan, and if he didn't make a move at this time, it was also a trouble to leave a Taishu Dragon Girl who secretly hated him. Just don't do it, don't stop, and then live as a Taishu Dragon Girl to calculate. Really do it. Saw Su Lai's hands on Taishu Dragon Girl. The four kings of the Scorpion Dragon clan suddenly took a breath and looked horrified. Even if they killed the Pill Domain before, they weren't so nervous, but they couldn't sit still a little bit when it came to the prince and daughter of the Taishu ancient dragon clan. To know, this is the Taishu Gulong clan. News about the Taishu ancient dragon clan has long been spread in the monster beast world, and this is a well-deserved top-level monster beast clan. The overlord of the overlord. The most important thing is that they are still a subsidiary race of the primordial Zulong clan. As the saying goes, the shadow of the famous tree of people, the existence of the Taishu ancient dragon clan alone, is enough to shock them, dragon kings. Not to mention, Su Lai really had a murderous intent on the prince and daughter of the Taishu ancient dragon clan. King Lai, don't make mistakes. But, in a hurry, the four kings of the Scorpion Dragon clan did not stop Su Lai. They are very aware of Su Lai's temperament. At this time, if they dare to do too much, Su Lai won't be restrained just because they are dragons. Hey, that's it, he is going crazy and catches up with our entire Scorpion Dragon clan. How about going crazy with him once? Finally, the four kings of the Dragon clan still chose to stand on Su Lai's side. They are not slow. With Su Lai's character, since he dared to attack the Taishu Gulong clan, he was not afraid of the Taishu Gulong clan's revenge. They have not forgotten that Su Lai had exposed the secrets of the internal conflicts of the Taishu Gulong clan before. The ancient dragon clan is strong, but their Scorpion Dragon tribe needs Su Lai's leadership, and Su Lai, even their dragon tribe, has the best chance to give birth to a ninth-order monster king. This multiple-choice question, obviously for them, is not difficult to do. Compared to the thinking of the Scorpion Dragon, the true Phoenix family seemed to support Su Lai a lot. Their relationship with the Taishu Gulong clan has always been bad. If there is a chance to see this Taishu dragon girl, Su Lai's men will be hit zero. This is also a great thing for the true Phoenix family. After all, like the blood of a king, throughout their Junwang clan, there are not many. As for the Celestial Demon Palace camp, it seemed even more calm. Between them, they all raised their heads to look at the void, and smiled strangely. Fight, fight, it would be great if both lose and lose, hee. You forced me. Taishu dragon girl was repulsed by Su Lai, and she bit her silver teeth, as if she had made some determination. Xiao Fan's death made her extremely blame herself. Also, Xiao Fan's self-blame that he was unable to rescue in front of her made Taishu dragon girl, like an angry dragon king, lost her dignity as a monster king. Under this emotion, Taishu dragon girl finally unlocked the blood seal on her body. Moment, a rich purple light was diffused all over its body. Under the rendering of this purple light, Taishu dragon girl originally belonged to a petite body, but suddenly became tall and full of strange charm. People of the Scorpion Dragon tribe, I want you to die. The voice falls. A blood of the ancient dragon king rushing into the sky, burst out from her. What about the blood of the ancient dragon king? He said coldly, the words were extremely strong. At your infancy stage, how much can you have the strength of the king of the ancient dragon clan in the past? Talking, Su Lai's fierce gaze fell on Taishu dragon girl, as if it were true. Taishu dragon girl was dismantled by Su Lai, her expression sank slightly. But the next moment, the spirit of a king living alone in the ancient dragon clan swept out of her. So what, if you kill Xiao Fan, you will die for me. To this, Su Lai waved his big hand. Suddenly, a slaying air machine permeated out, seemingly light and windy, but it contained peerless killing, which seemed to resonate with part of the ancient dragon bloodline in his body. One shot, it will kill. Although Taishu dragon girl is strong, Su Lai is obviously better. When she came into contact with that kind of killing, the grandeur of the ancient dragon clan on her body suddenly let out an unconcealable wailing, which faded a lot in an instant. Obviously, this is not that the king spirit of the Gulong clan is inferior to Su Lai's Taoism, but Taishu dragon girl is not as good as Su Lai. The difference in strength cannot be made up by the suppression of the upper bloodline. This scene, even the four kings of the Scorpion Dragon clan were shocked. All the horrified eyes all fell on Su Lai's body. Incredible, and Taishu dragon girl's expression became more solemn, and she looked at Su Lai in front of her, as if she was facing an enemy. The blood of the king of the ancient dragon clan. At this moment, Su Lai's indifferent voice sounded again. It's a pity you, after all, just entered the 7th rank, you just did it in the outside world. HMPH, I'll take down this grudge, she will avenge it every day. Seeing that the means were exhausted, she couldn't beat Su Lai. Until this moment, Taishu Dragon Girl wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, and she also woke up. If you don't leave, there will be a shadow of death like Xiao Fan. As soon as his body moves, he will rush into the space channel. Stay. Su Lai's terrifying Daohuo killed the Taishu Dragon Girl directly and sprayed out another dragon blood. With the strength that her nobleman does not have, how can it be Su Lai's opponent? However, at this moment, a terrifying suction force burst out from the space channel. In an instant, the Taishu Dragon Girl was forcibly taken away. Seeing this change, Taishu Dragon Girl couldn't help but startled, and immediately seemed to understand something. A touch of gratitude flashed in his eyes. Thank you ancestors for helping me. Finished. It just goes directly into the space channel. Incidentally, and with the power of space, the high-level taking precepts has been moved from here. #B. After Xiao Fan died, he left behind to accept the ring. Ancestor. Although no figure appeared in the space channel, Su Lai's keen eyesight still discovered the horror of the opponent's strength. Immediately, Su Lai's pupils also shrank suddenly. Ji Yu Long, the great sage of the clan. Undoubtedly, Su Lai did not expect that the great sage of the ancient dragon clan would violate the rules in front of so many people. Break the rules of the existence of the holy rank. Humph, can't keep you, but I can't make you feel better. Upon seeing this, Su Lai's eyes were slightly cold. He knows very well that the Taishu Dragon Girl can attract the great sage of the ancient dragon family and personally save it. It is because she has an important mission. And since the great sage of the Gulong clan refused to show up, it shows that he is actually jealous. After all, as the great sage of the ancient dragon clan, he has crossed the boundary this time. Su Lai didn't want him to go so smoothly, so he rescued the Taishu Dragon Girl, and immediately took a few steps forward, and the 3,000 starry sky dragon charcoal broke into the space channel fiercely. What? Being so calcined by Dao Huo, Taishu Dragon Girl also screamed bitterly, her face pale. If you want to leave, you can. Gulong essence and blood, leave a part for me. To the scream of Taishu Dragon Girl, Su Lai sneered, the Dao Huo in his hand, like a Purpose 06, surged with boundless suction. That terrifying power. In an instant, the essence and blood of the Taishu Dragon female was burned out, and a few drops were taken away from the life. Don't underestimate these few drops of blood. You know, this is the royal blood of the Taishu ancient dragon clan, and it is a real big tonic for the dragon bloodline. HMPH, you junior, dare to say that my ancient dragon essence blood. Facing Su Lai's step-by-step pressing. In that space channel, there was finally a sound of anger and cold shouts. In addition to dragging the Taishu Dragon Girl into the space quickly. At the same time, the great sage of the ancient dragon clan also quickly discovered a dragon claw and moved towards Su Lai to suppress it. Boom! The dragon's claws fell, and a terrifying storm of energy that made people horrified, suddenly swept away from the space channel. And Su Lai is in the void. Even with him, within 100 feet of him, he was directly shaken and collapsed. The shot of the great sage level can be seen how terrifying it is. Have to say, this sudden explosion of horrific murderous intent also caused everyone present to fall into a kind of silence. Feel the terrifying power contained in the dragon's claws. Many people smack their tongues in secret. Is this the strength of the monster race great sage's quick strike? It's frightening. With the suppression of Dragon Claw, Su Lai's figure slowly appeared in the eyes of everyone above the void. And when he saw that Su Lai was not dead, he was just a little embarrassed. Suddenly, there were some changes in each. Junior, I can't think of a hard fight against me, you can survive. Unexpectedly, the Scorpion Dragon clan gave birth to a strong man like you, and let you grow to such a level. It is indeed my ancient dragon clan's mistake. But you don't have to think that if you have 3,000 starry sky dragon flames, you are qualified to provoke my ancient dragon clan. Scorpion Dragon Clan, old man remember. After one blow. The great sage of the ancient dragon clan obviously can't make a second shot in the air. After all, if he makes another move, the space channel will definitely not be able to sustain it. The safety of Taishu Dragon Girl is obviously more important. Rest assured, you Gulong clan, I will go sooner or later. Su Lai looked at the space passage and did not rush into it to avenge him. He didn't have the slightest doubt about the strength of the monster race great sage. At this stage, no matter how self-confident Su Lai is, he will never think that he can fight against one. At the same time, that space channel obviously also reached the limit of time, and then the channel is closed. The whole emptiness is restored as before. The dragon girl of the Taishu ancient dragon clan, and the great sage of the ancient dragon clan who never appeared, disappeared. Above the void, only one figure still lay above it. That is Su Lai. At this moment, Su Lai was panting violently and breathing quickly, just looking a little embarrassed. Hiss. In this situation, even the three elders of the heavenly demon temple couldn't help but swell with a solemn color. This guy, a trick to resist the great sage of the ancient dragon clan, can he not die? To know, this is the existence of the great sage level. In the next instant, everyone from the dragon clan reacted, looking at Su Lai's figure in the void. The color of awe in his eyes was even more intense. Before, in World War I, Xiao Fan, who was pregnant with 3 great avenues of fire, couldn't help but be maimed by King Lai. Now the great sage of the ancient dragon clan made a shot himself, but he has not been able to kill him. King Lai, how strong is he? So thought, cannot help but quietly emerge from the hearts of every Malong clan. As everyone knows, Su Lai at this moment ignored everyone's gaze. Even his own embarrassment did not pay half attention. A pair of deep eyes were in the palm of his palm. Awesome. In Su Lai's hands, 5 droplets resembling golden water droplets floated up and down in his hands. This is the blood of the king of the Taishu ancient dragon clan. Within every drop of the essence and blood of the ancient dragon king, there is a ray of dragon-shaped energy circulating. Mysterious and noble. 5 drops. Rao Yi Su Lai's deep eyes are now covered with heat and excitement. Quan should charge some interest. Fortunately, Su Lai's words were not heard by those of the dragon race. Otherwise, they are afraid that they will be completely crazy. Take a dragon claw. Then they can receive 5 drops of the blood of the king of the ancient dragon clan, and they are willing to die. Certainly, this is just a joke. Not everyone has Su Lai's ability to wait for death. All of these, it is all based on the immortal ability of 3000 Starry Sky Longtan. And at this moment, all the battles ended, Man Fan died, Taishu Dragon Girl was killed back to Taishu Gulong clan. Su Lai is undoubtedly the biggest winner. The prompt sound that the system hasn't appeared in a long time is also at this moment, and then it sounds. Ah, congratulations to the host, take the initiative to attack, as the villain, kill the protagonist Manfan, and complete the villain's self-saving, reward, burning the sky. Ding, congratulations to the host, change the plot, the villain value plus 200,000. Ding, congratulations to the host. Ding, listen to the reward sound of the ear system. Su Lai was shocked. It's not that I haven't heard the sound of the system for too long, but Su Lai is a little shocked about the rewards of the system. This time the beheading of Xiao Fan, the villain value of up to 200,000 will not be mentioned for the time being. And that burning heaven Jew. But the invincible technique that Xiao Fan cultivated was the most terrifying technique in the entire sky. If you cultivate to the extreme, you can be the lord of 10,000 fires. Really prove the existence of the emperor with Daohuo. Proof. 2 simple words are enough to explain how heavy its weight is. And it is also the protagonist of the Wastewood Flow, the biggest gold finger. It can be said, except for Grandpa Ring. In fact, this is Xiao Fan's real gold finger, an invincible technique that is truly against the sky. Even teacher Xiao Fan who has obtained this technique has never practiced this technique. The protagonist's exclusive exercises through and through. That is to cultivate such a technique. Under the circumstances of fighting over and above the ranks time and time again, Xiao Fan only had such confidence that he dared to fish everywhere in troubled waters. Time and time again, I am a little big, and I have won 2 great avenues. Su Lai didn't expect. This time, after he killed Xiao Fan, the system actually rewarded him. Have to say, Su Lai has a lot of interest in these powerful techniques that can prove the emperor. If Su Lai remembers correctly, this technique needs to be cultivated at the beginning of cultivation, and only by refining Dao Huo can it be upgraded to the strongest invincible existence step by step. Today's Su Lai is already an existence that rivals the 8th Order Venerable. Let him abolish the cultivation base and rebuild this technique. That price is a bit big. However, in the next moment, the system dispelled Sulai's concerns. The host does not need to worry, you can directly refine the burning heaven Jew to succeed through the villain value. Ding, does the host deduct the 100,000 villain value and practice burning heaven Jew? Sulai heard it, completely let go of the doubts in my heart, and said without hesitation, give me a deduction. Finished. In Sulai's mind, Fen Tianju's exercise route and various mysticisms were all turned into golden fonts, which throbbed in his mind. Release the terrible feeling of burning everything. Immediately, the ray of Sulai's soul was withdrawn from the system and returned to the sea of consciousness. Immediately, I saw him suddenly open his eyes. Then suddenly it turned into substance and came out, burning the void. Success. Above the void. Sulai is also always paying attention to the situation on the court when he successfully trained the burning sky Jew. The house said in doubt, kill the battle of Danyu today. He won. As the biggest winner, this is the time to harvest the fruits of victory. The origin of the 3,000-star dragon sign. Think about this. Sulai's pair of cold gazes also turned to the three giant Dan Xuanzi. And when his eyes swept down, Danyi Holy Land, also in an instant, quieted down. Among them, the elders of the great elders who survived, couldn't help swallowing, and felt a little uneasy. Now, Xiao Fan died, and the Taishu dragon girl was killed back to the Gulong clan, fleeing every day. Next, I am afraid it is time for them to continue to suffer. Have to admit, the existence in front of them is like a monster, and in their hearts, they can no longer afford to fight against one another. If, before they, with the background of Pill Sacred Land 1 and their arrogance as a pharmacist, they dared to fight at the beginning. Then, with the battle between Sulai and Xiao Fan, and the tit-for-tat confrontation with the great sage of the Gulong clan, their courage has gradually been smashed. Joke. Even the great sage of Gulong clan, Sulai dared to hard steel with it. What are their confidence to fight? Really, just when their hearts were cold. Sulai's indifferent voice is also slowly introduced into everyone's ears. The giant Dan Xuanzi. Now we can talk about the problem of refining Daohuo. Talk about the problem of Daohuo. Upon hearing this, the three giants of Dan Xuanzi were all angry. The reason why they took the initiative to bow their heads before. He also agreed to let Sulai refine 3,000 starry sky dragon flames, which was based on the premise that Sulai let Xiao Fan go. And now, Sulai not only beheaded Tifan, but also had the face to ask them about refining Daohuo. You killed the co-author, but Daohuo, are you still thinking about it? How shameless are these words? What can I talk about? Suddenly, the expressions of the three giants of Dan Xuanzi became more and more gloomy. Xiao Fan has been killed by you. You haven't met the conditions set by the old man, so what else can you talk about refining Daohuo? However, Sulai was completely unaware of the anger in the words of Dan Xuanzi's three giants. The origin of the 3,000 starry dragon flames. He is bound to win. Who dares to stand in the way, he kills who. Hey, I saw Sulai's eyes drooping, an array of cold killing light was brewing in it. Then slowly lowered his head and looked directly at the three giants of Dan Xuanzi. Whispered, so, today's killing is going to continue. Obviously, anyone can feel the turbulent undercurrent hidden in Sulai's question. That is, if you don't give it, I will continue to kill. Kill until you give it. Sulai, don't think that my Danyi Holy Land is a soft persimmon that you can pinch. Don't forget, at this moment, you have been injured by the great saint of the ancient dragon clan, and now what strength is there to wait for me to fight again? Hear the words. The three giants of Dan Xuanzi were even more angry and pointed out Sulai's weakness at this time without hesitation. In this regard, Sulai smiled wantonly. The big three are right. I do have injuries, but don't forget. The Daohuo I have. It's the 3,000 starry dragon flames known as the undead fire. Boom. With Sulai's voice falling. Suddenly, the terrifying silver starry sky rose up, turning into an ancient dragon phantom, hanging high behind Sulai. Bloom the starless star. Ha! The concubine running in the 3,000 sky dragon charcoal, Sulai's heaven and earth aura within 100 feet, instantly formed a starry sky vortex around him. In many shocked eyes, the endless aura of heaven and earth rushed to Sulai's body continuously. Immediately afterwards, he was swallowed by his whale. Tao Fire Rising Room. Any spiritual energy from heaven and earth turns into starry sky and silver shining, and becomes an immortal fire that repairs Sulai's body. What the big three Dan Xuanzi didn't know was, the great sage of the ancient dragon clan is strong, but the damage caused to Sulai through the space channel is not as deadly as imagined. The vitality in the form of Sulai's undead ancient dragon. Even if the injuries are ignored, they can be healed naturally in less than 10.5 months. And now, under Sulai's deliberate operation of the undead fire, time is shorter. After a while, Sulai's eyes were shining brightly, and the aura in his body has reached the peak again. Obviously, with this short period of healing, how well the injury. Most of the previous injuries have recovered. According to Sulai's current state, it is enough to have the capital to start another war. Damn it, I forgot, this ape has the immortality ability of 3,000 starry sky dragon flames. Have to say, at this moment, the three giants of Dan Xuanzi were also so angry that they were almost speechless because of Sulai's words and the act of healing in public. In this way, they acted so arrogantly to Sulai. I have to remain silent. After all, the strength that Sulai showed at this moment was enough to be worthy of his skill. They won't forget. Earlier, in Sulai's hands, there were 4 elders from the Great Elder's house, who were taken over by Sulai. Fight again. With Sulai's lineup in the Dan domain today, it is not difficult to imagine how many old patrons died at his hands. Think about this. A wry smile appeared quietly from the faces of the 3 giant Dan Xuanzi. Afterwards, Dan Xuanzi, who seemed to be ironic but also self-deprecating, finally spoke. Fine, now it seems that in the end, after all, you have won. This moment, under the absolute disadvantage, the big 3 of Dan Xuanzi had already accepted their fate. Today's Danyu battle, the result is already obvious. They are a holy land. There is no chance of a comeback, and there is no need to let him die. And Sulai, regarding this remark, it is silent. With a faint smile, the 3 giants, I knew this before, so why bother? Hearing that, Dan Xuanzi hates it even more. In fact, like before, when Sulai threatened him with Dan, a Holy Land elder, he didn't care. Not only him, but no one in power could accept the threat. After all, who would have thought that Sulai would have such a terrifying strength? Obviously not the strength of the 7th rank. But those who fight for higher ranks are more like the nobles than the realm of their nobles. Encounter such a monster. They also only watched the Grand Elder's house and were slaughtered bloodily by Sulai. To a certain extent, Danyi Holy Land belongs to the decent camp. Being decent, there has always been a problem, that is, the heart is not ruthless, not like Sulai, you can achieve the goal without scrutiny. Therefore, the Grand Elders were slaughtered, it can be said that they are suffering every moment. Until now, among the major elders' courtyard, the fighting power that can be alone is slaughtered by Sulai and only 6 are left, and he has no luck at this time. Therefore, the big 3 of Dan Xuanzi had only one choice. That is to agree to Sulai's request. Take this truce. Humph. Dan Xuanzi snorted coldly, ignoring Sulai's sarcasm, and said solemnly. However, the old man has a condition. Ha ha. Sulai raised his brows slightly, if he pointed out, the condition that the giant Dan Xuanzi wants to mention, but the heavenly demon palace. See Sulai's guess. Dan Xuanzi did not cover up, and said bluntly, in the hands of the heavenly demon palace, harvest the soul bodies of many elders in the elder pavilion in the holy land of Pil. There are also the souls of the 4 elders from the great elder's house. The original Daohuo of the 3,000 star dragon sign can make you refining, but you have to let them hand over those souls. This statement came out. The pupils of the 3 elders in the heavenly demon palace shrank imperceptibly. A vague look hovered on Sulai. Before doing this, they guessed that Sulai must be one with the Pil sacred land. What purpose is there, otherwise it would never be possible to kill the Pil domain. Now listening to their conversation, I finally understand. All of these, it was just for the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames of Danyi Holy Land. Such a situation is not good news for their heavenly demon palace. With this kid's cruel heart and unstoppable behavior until he achieves his goal, I'm afraid that I don't really want to deal with them. As everyone knows, for Dan Xuanzi, and even the thoughts of respecting the elders in the heavenly demon palace. Su Lai knows it naturally. Since the former dared to negotiate with him directly in front of everyone, he wanted to return to the soul body of Danny Holy Land. It might not have been the idea of burying a thorn between him and the heavenly demon palace. Its purpose not only had to return to the soul bodies of the elders, but also separated the exhausted dragon race and the heavenly demon palace in a temporary joint state. No, you can also transfer the artillery fire of the heavenly demon palace. Lean it on the dragon. After all, it was impossible to vomit what was in the mouth of the heavenly demon palace. Ha ha, Su Lai knew this little movement of Dan Xuanzi better than anyone else. Smile immediately. There is a hint of irony in the eyes of Dan Xuanzi. The giant Dan Xuanzi, you too overestimate the situation of your Dan Xuanzi one, right? With that said, Su Lai directly refused. If you want to return the soul bodies of the elders and elders of your Danny Holy Land, you can grab it yourself. This matter has nothing to do with me. And, speaking of this, Su Lai is also looking at the big three Dan Xuanzi. The big three feel that they have any confidence in their hands. Tell me about this condition. If the three of you do not agree with what I said, they will fight again today. Immediately, the three elders of the heavenly demon palace breathed a sigh of relief. The secret way of smart people talking is comfortable, they can say between them, and both sides take what they need. Su Lai does not take the initiative to break this balance. They are so happy too. On the other hand, Dan Xuanzi was completely silent when he heard Su Lai's words on the Danny Holy Land. In fact, he also knows. With Su Lai's city mansion, how could it be so easy to agree to his conditions? After all, even if it is a dragon clan, he dare not easily handle the heavenly demon palace. The reason why he dared to mention it was just to raise the price on the ground and pay the money back on the ground. Never thought about it. Su Lai didn't mean to pay back the money at all. He just raised the table when he came up. Don't play cards according to the routine at all. However, before he could respond, Su Lai faintly said, I would like to advise the giant Dan Xuanzi. My patience is limited. Undoubtedly, of the three parties present, which side is not the smart person? Naturally know how to weigh the pros and cons. Whether it is Danny Holy Land or Heavenly Demon Temple, which one of them is a good kind? I want to borrow the sword of the exhausted dragon clan to deal with the Heavenly Demon Palace. Dan's Sacred Land's idea was shattered. Really, after only a few breaths, Su Lai saw that the faces of the three giants of Dan Xuanzi showed tacit glances at the same time. Obviously a consensus has been reached. Although the three giants may not have their own Xiao Juju in their hearts, it is also the first to solve the conditions set by Su Lai and to calm the things after today's war. Su Lai has no doubt about this. Finally, Dan Xuanzi spoke up. This time, you really won. Ignoring the people in the Heavenly Demon Temple on the side, their eyes fell on Su Lai, seeming to let go a lot, and said calmly, I can open up the star field for you and let you refine 3,000 starry sky dragon flames. However, you and the Scorpion Dragon tribe behind you, the true Phoenix tribe, must not against our Danny Holy Land and the Heavenly Demon Palace. As expected, seeing that the strategy against the Scorpion Dragon clan was not successful, Danny Holy Land took the initiative to direct the artillery fire at the Heavenly Demon Palace. This is really a great irony. This time, the instigator of the Shangdan territory was the exhausted Dragon clan. In the end, Dan was a holy land, but it was troubled by the Heavenly Demon Palace. This is unlucky. I am afraid that I will never find the second backpot man again. Certainly, there is no alternative. Who made Su Lai the purpose of Dao Huo, and the purpose of the Heavenly Demon Palace was to take advantage of the fire to rob and reap the soul body of the elders and even the dead. In essence, Su Lai's request is within the acceptance range of Danny Holy Land. Although it loses some face, Shan is better than dead again. And Dan Holy Land, that is actually digging meat on its body. For Dan Xuanzi's request this time, Su Lai chuckled lightly, stopped talking, and simply nodded, I can agree to this. The three elders on the side of the Heavenly Demon Palace wanted to say that Laozi would not agree. They obviously understand. Su Lai this time, this is to achieve success and retreat, and draw a clear line with them. After all, Su Lai and them only temporarily unanimously confronted the enemy. Everyone got what they needed, and Sulai stunned Danyi Holy Land with his ability and got the Dao Huo he wanted. As for the Heavenly Demon Palace, what to do with him? Good. Sulai readily agreed, and Dan Xuanzi would not hesitate anymore, even if he ordered a senior citizen to take Sulai to the Dan realm. At the same time, open the seal enchantment of the star field for it. The purpose is achieved. Sulai chuckled at the people in Danyi Holy Land. Excuse me, killing the 4 elders and countless members of the elders, Sulai is like just visiting here, and then. With a wave of his hand, he led everyone from the Scorpion Dragon clan and the True Phoenix clan away. See this scene. The 3 elders of the Heavenly Devil suddenly twitched their faces. This bastard, the benefits are blocked by him. The mess is all for us. They are not stupid, knowing that in this battle of the Pill territory, the chaotic battle of the 3 parties, there must always be one force to quell the anger of Pill One Holy Land. It is clear, their heavenly demon temple became the hapless one, and was dug out to bear the anger. Have to say, when they met Sulai in the temple of Heavenly Demon, it was considered blood mold. Undoubtedly, to a certain extent, their Heavenly Demon Palace is also hard to get under. Now the space of Danyu is closed. The 3 elders of their Heavenly Demon Palace, but they don't have the back view of Taishu Dragon Girl, who can attract the great sage behind them to rescue. Either hand over the soul body or fight. Sulai has a choice. They obviously did not choose Danyu, the first city. At this time, Sulai, regardless of the fact that the group of people in the Heavenly Demon Palace are not unlucky, he is already the elder of the Dan Sacred Land and came to the core of the Dan domain. Holy Pill City. What's interesting is that when Sulai and his party arrived in the city of Holy Pill, the second city behind it, even if it is thousands of miles away, the sound of the collision can still be heard. Boom. The roar of the fighting came, and then there seemed to be a pill of fire, like a rainstorm, and the wine fell from the second city. The dense masses almost turned into a large area of pill fire, covering the entire second city. To this, the dragon clan behind Sulai and Feng Shaner looked at the second city with extremely strange eyes. That look is a bit dull, but it's more pity. These poor guys. After laughing, those people in the Heavenly Demon Palace were not human, ghosts and not ghosts, they were completely left behind. For them, things like the weak eating the strong have long been accustomed to it. Anyway, this group of people in the Heaven Demon Palace have a bad reputation in Zhongzhou, and they are not good birds. It is most suitable to block the gun. Holy Pill City, Star Field. This is a secret space independent of the outer domain of Dan. Well known. In the Sky Realm, only the strength of the Great Sage level is qualified to build a party, space. Obviously, this is the handwriting of the Great Sage ancestor of Danyi Holy Land. My eyes swept around. Sulai's gaze, looking into the distance, all you can see is an endless starry sky. Sulai and the Dragon Clan group behind him followed the Elder Zhe in the Great Elder's house in front of him, slowly descending into the void. And the old patron of the other party also took out a rune like a starry sky from the ring. As soon as the star-shaped rune appeared, it was immersed in the starry sky, and within that starry sky, there was also a strange wave of fluctuations. After a while, a starry sky channel slowly opened and appeared in Sulai's line of sight. The dark starry sky channel, like a deep black hole, exudes a strange suction. And it is at this moment, Sulai unexpectedly sensed an abnormal movement from the star field. Faintly, it seems to him that there is a call. Soon, Sulai's eyes lit up. This induction is the origin of 3000 Starry Sky Longtan. Obviously, because Sulai refines the subfire of 3000 Starry Sky Dragon Flames, at this time, he can clearly feel the sense of the origin of the call. If you want to discuss who is most suitable for refining 3000 Starry Sky Dragon Flames in this world, I'm afraid Sulai must be it. Undoubtedly, as a senior elder of the sacred place, he is also quite familiar with the star field. The movement in the star field at this moment let him also realize in the first time that the arrival of Sulai triggered the 3000 Starry Sky Dragon Flames in the star field. And this time, Sulai already quietly said, "It is worthy of being a sacred place of Danyi. It is really a big deal to build such a starry sky secret realm." Even though the existence of the Great Sage level possesses the ability to construct space, But the strength is different, and the ability to construct space is also different. The space world constructed by the existence of the ordinary great sage does not have the magical effect of the star field. To know, this star field is not only a space secret realm, but also has the power of banning 3,000 starry sky dragon flames. One can imagine how terrible its internal space is. The great ancestor of Danyi Holy Land, I remember, even in the existence of great sage levels throughout the ages, it is unusual. Su Lai's heart moved. Even, it may be comparable to the top-ranking existences of the Emperor clan. Both exist at the same level as the great sage. Because of his physique, the cultivation techniques, and his bloodline for various special reasons. There are also strong and weak points between the great sage rank and the great sage rank. And judging from the memory of Su Lai's traverser and the glimpse at this moment, the great sage level ancestor of Danyi Holy Land. It can definitely belong to the most top-notch list of great sage existences. Your Excellency said and laughed. No matter how big my Danyi Holy Land is, it will not be the result of Your Excellency in the end. The old elders in front of the elders' courtyard said with emotion. In words, it's not irony, but calmly expounding a fact. I waited for all the means to be exhausted, and finally discovered that all this was just a wedding dress for Your Excellency. Everyone knows how important Dao Huo is to a pharmacist. And in Danyi Holy Land, the old patrons of the big elder's house guarded Baoshan empty but couldn't refine it. One can imagine how uncomfortable the feeling is. Not to mention, now he has to personally send Dao Huo to Su Lai for refining. So much. The old patron of the great Presbyterian house had an inexplicable sour tone. I have to say, Your Excellency is a means of turning your hands into clouds and covering your hands as rain. This time our Danyi Holy Land is not wrong. Hear the words. Su Lai smiled faintly, ignored it, and waited quietly for the other party to open the star field barrier. Not long time. The star field barrier was opened, completely exposed in front of Su Lai's eyes. Your Excellency can go in. But these people behind you can't do it. This is the rule of my Danyi Holy Land. The old elder's courtyard house said solemnly. Su Lai didn't object to this either. The other party was almost held in his hand at the moment, and he was not worried that he had other ideas. Su Lai waved his hand, motioning everyone to wait here. And he himself, on the other hand, he went to the starfield space alone, looking at the Daohuo world ahead. A flash of fiery color flashed in his heart. In the next moment, Su Lai suddenly felt a burst of space chaos. Entered the star field. Su Lai suddenly sensed that, in the dark, a terrifying aura of extreme destruction was attracted to him far away. Obviously, that is the aura of Daohuo from the origin of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flame. There is no hesitation. Su Lai sacrificed his own dragon fire, and instantly communicated with that terrifying Daohuo aura. Suddenly, a beam of light that also showed the flames of the starry sky echoed from the deepest part of the star field. At the same time, Su Lai's whole body was shaken, and a fire riot appeared in his body, extremely terrifying and raging in his body. It's worthy of being the 9th Daohuo on the Daohuo list. Su Lai sighed, but he was not surprised. The stronger Zaihuo's riot, the stronger his original Daohuo. Once he is refined, his future path will be smoother. The complete Daohuo list is 9th. That power must not be underestimated. Thought of this, Su Lai quickly mobilized the sub-fire of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames, and went beyond the direction of the original Daohuo. And as Su Lai gets closer and closer to the body of 3,000 starry sky dragon charcoal, his expression changed abruptly, and the whole person's breath was a meal. This animal is actually beating my idea. It seems, not only is Su Lai wanting to refine the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames, but for the latter, it seems that Su Lai also has the same mind. The vast void. Su Lai finally found the body of 3,000 starry sky dragon flame. As he expected, this starry sky dragon flame known as the undead fire looks like a huge ancient dragon with an invisible end. Its body is winding and entrenched, which is unimaginable. Compared with the huge dragon body, the phantom of the ancient dragon condensed by Su Lai Zaihuo is almost like a small insignificance. That gap, a perfect interpretation of what is called origin Daohuo and what is called Zaihuo. Also, it is worth mentioning that there are countless mysterious chains around the body of 3,000 star dragon charm. Faintly, there is a certain rune circulation on the chain, condensed into one party to lock up. Locking his body, the endless starlight fire burns in the shackles, seeming to be locked in this cage. The weird thing is, the flame lock, of course, imprisoned and sealed it, but it also seemed to be its help. Help him continue to absorb the star power in the starfield space. While imprisoning, help it nourish Dao Huo. The ambition of Danyi Holy Land is not small, and these methods are obviously to continue to differentiate the Zaihuo. Obviously, they can't refine the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames, and their eyes are firmly locked on the fire. This is like the elder families of Danhazhong family and Qingwo Bai family. If you can't get Dao Huo, just retreat and ask for the second time. Make more fire. The purpose is to conceive more and better pill fires for the alchemists of their Pill One Holy Land. As everyone knows, 3,000 starry sky dragon flames, from the time when the ancient dragons were raised, and then discovered by Danyi Holy Land, they were confined in the star field. In these endless years, a very high spiritual wisdom has been born. This is also the main reason why no one can refine the power of the entire Danyi Holy Land. And at this moment, those 3,000 starry sky dragons also discovered Su Lai. Familiar breath of blood. Unexpectedly, you actually have the blood of the ancient dragon clan. Well, no wonder it can refine my sub-fire. Feel the power of Su Lai's soul refining. The body of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flame suddenly roared, and wanted to directly annihilate Su Lai's spirit. Boy, die. Use your body to help me escape this damn star field prison. The voice falls. That terrifying long way is getting stronger and stronger. Perceive this change. Su Lai's brows are also slightly frowned. These 3,000 starry sky dragon charcoal, I am afraid that they really think of themselves as Taishu Gulong. Obviously it is a Dao Huo, but in the end, he has to use the power of the ancient dragon clan to attack him. This thought passed in my mind. It's really a coincidence that Taishu ancient dragon, not long ago, I almost wore the blood of an ancient dragon king. Su Lai chuckles. He hadn't forgotten that he received the dragon seal of the Taishu dragon girl, and he still had 5 drops of the blood of the real elder dragon king in his hand. Su Lai at this moment can be said to be a bit more fierce than most ancient dragons. Coupled with Fen Tianju's cultivation technique support, he was fully prepared for the 3,000 starry sky dragon flame, and he had no fear at all. Want to devour my sub-fire? Hehe, then it depends on you, whether you have this ability. The violent dragon sign fire manifests around Su Lai. The 3,000 starry sky dragon charcoal body above the void shuddered abruptly, and the ancient dragon was deterred, and Su Lai could not have the slightest effect on it. And the sub-fire power of Su Lai's body swelled in a circle at a speed visible to the naked eye. The silver flame is even brighter. Asshole! 3,000 starry sky dragons roared, angered by Su Lai's reverse swallowing behavior. Want to devour me, you do. However, in the end, the word, dream, hadn't been spoken, but the voice of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames stopped. At the moment, it seems that I encountered such a terrible existence, and in an instant, I was strangled. The reason why 3,000 starry sky dragon flame is like this. It was from Su Lai's hand, that piece of dragon seal captured from Taishu dragon girl's hand. If not for this dragon seal, its Gulong coercion just now may have forced Su Lai back. But, with just such a dragon seal, the body of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flame is not so afraid of Su Lai. By the way, in the breath of Su Lai's cultivation technique, he was born with a sense of suppression of Dao Huo, releasing an extremely terrifying qi. Faced with that terrifying aura, even the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames felt a sense of horror. It seems that once it explodes with full force, even it is unbearable. This exercise, it is the most powerful and invincible technique that can prove the emperor. Burning Heaven Ju. Original. The dragon seal in Su Lai's hand has nothing to do with the aura of the Burning Heaven Ju. But with Su Lai's methods frequently, these 2 killer bronzes brought tremendous pressure to suppress the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames. How can it be? How can you have the dragon seal of the Gulong clan in a small bloodline of the Scorpion Dragon clan? And your practice, why does it feel like I can't help but surrender? What kind of ghost practice is this? 370. Impossible. 3,000 starry dragons roared, unbelievable. Ha ha. Su Lai chuckled indifferently, without speaking. Undoubtedly, under the two big killer bronzes, 3,000 starry sky Longtan is already at a disadvantage, and now he can't even control his emotions. How to resist Su Lai's burning heaven Ju and the ancient dragon clan's dragon seal? One thought of this. Su Lai didn't delay any longer, and slammed the Fen Tian Ju. The mysterious power of Daohuo refining, like a tide, crazily oppresses the body of the 3,000 starry dragon flames. And get the help of Fen Tian Ju. The dragon flames surrounding Su Lai also began to counterattack, enveloping the origin of the dragon flames in the 3,000 starry sky, and wanted to refine it. This moment, 3,000 starry sky dragon phlegm, not only trapped by the rune chain, but also resisting the reverse swallowing of Su Lai dragon flame. Among them are the suppression of the burning heaven Ju and the weakening of the dragon seal. The 9th ranked undead fire on the Daohuo list has greatly reduced the threat to Su Lai. Su Lai's destructive tyranny is no longer in the eyes of Su Lai efficient, worthy of being the protagonist. Xiao Fan's number 1 gold finger in refining Daohuo. Su Lai was overjoyed and accelerated the refining abruptly. In a crash, the dragon Yanzi fire in his body instantly became countless times more solid. If it is said that only relying on the dragon flame fire to swallow the origin of the fire of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames, then the speed is slow as a tortoise speed. So now, Su Lai's refining speed is truly several times faster than before. Gradually, Sanchen Xingkong Longtan's expression is also extremely ugly, staring at Su Lai. Have to say, in Daohuo, there are not many existences that can split into Zaihuo. Except for the few seed fires of the first 3 ranks, it is only the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames that have this level of ability. Take it with you. Its intelligence is also much higher than many of the top 10 Daohuo. After a long time, I saw him snorting coldly and vomiting. I am the Daohuo where 3,000 stars gather. With my subhuo, I want to refine me. You are not afraid to die. Obviously, regarding Su Lai's operation, the body of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flame was also full of disdain. However, before it finished speaking, he heard Su Lai sipping coldly. Fen Tian Ju, train for me. Buzz. In the darkness, there seemed to be a roar. Su Lai's burning heaven Ju, with an unstoppable posture, crashed onto the body of 3,000 starry sky dragon flame. A mysterious and terrifying breath suddenly radiated from Su Lai's body. That kind of aura manifested, matching Su Lai's body shape. Su Lai at this moment, with the cooperation of Fen Tianju, seems to have turned into a godless flame. All fires in the world can be practiced. No, the origin of Daohuo is mine. 3,000 starry sky Longtan was in a hurry. Pity, the chains around it are like shackles, confining it to death. As a result, 3,000 starry sky dragon flame could only roar furiously. Asshole. You just need to refine my dragon fire, and now you still want to refine me, dreaming. 3,000 starry dragons roared wildly, struggling crazily. However, it is still useless. Even if it is known as the fire of immortality, since Su Lai suppressed it, with his means, it would never be possible to turn it over. Quote. 3,000 starry sky dragons suspected that he would not admit his fate, continue to resist, and want the last fight. In response, Su Lai smiled indifferently. Yesterday was indifferent. Slowly stretched out his hand, facing the body of 3,000 starry sky Long Yan, drank lightly in his mouth. Lian. Su Lai suddenly felt an extremely powerful dragon seal chi machine in the hands of 3,000 starry sky dragon flame. In a trance, it seems to remember the time when it was weak. The image of being nurtured by the ancient dragons. Follow me. From now on, I will take you to the top of Daohuo and fight the sky. Su Lai looked calmly at 3,000 starry sky Long Yan, speaking slowly, with a special rhythm. The voice falls. The speed of refining 3,000 starry sky dragon flames unexpectedly soared again. The dragon bag fire all over him, almost condensed into substance. From the origin of Daohuo of the 3,000 star dragon sign, it is continuously transformed into the power of Daohuo, constantly assimilated and turned into its own use. I do not know how long it has been. 3,000 starry sky Long Yan seemed to be caught in a strange tranquility. During the entire refining process, Su Lai's dragon bag fire gradually sensed the connection with the origin of the fire. Moreover, this connection is constantly deepening. Gradually, the aura on Su Lai's body is also getting more and more terrifying. Just like a fire in the void, in the entire star field, there is a continuous source of the burning sound of Tao fire. The origin of the 3,000 starry dragon signs at this moment has become extremely docile, but this docility is only relative to Su Lai. And in the eyes of others, it still contains the violent that destroys the world, the supreme meaning of roaring the world, it still exists. It's time to complete it. Su Lai's thoughts moved, and the dragon flames in his body suddenly became fierce, entangled with the origin of the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames. Together into a complete Daohuo. On the Daohuo list, the 9th fire to the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames are completely refined by Su Lai. Boom. Su Lai slowly opened his eyes, those deep pupils that looked like the changing starry sky, very strange. At this moment, projecting a tyrannical aura. Finally, it's complete. Su Lai's palm suddenly squeezed. At this point, he clearly felt that the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames sub-fire defects were also completely completed at this time. That kind of complete immortal fire feeling surged in Su Lai's body instantly, transforming Su Lai's whole body. Good. Feeling the complete immortality effect, Su Lai nodded with satisfaction, his eyes full of wonder. The 9th fire is really terrible. At this moment, Su Lai's heart moved. At the moment when the 3,000 starry sky dragon flames were completely refined, Su Lai suddenly realized that in the darkness, there seemed to be a layer of chi luck imposing a yoke on his body. At this moment, there was a sudden blast, shattering like glass. This is the feeling of breaking through the shackles and breaking through the realm is wonderful. Obviously everything is nothingness, neither can it be seen nor touched, but Su Lai can clearly perceive that it was real before. Are you going to break through? As a traveler, Su Lai's vision is naturally not broad. My thoughts flashed, and I guessed in an instant. Because the predecessor, the scorpion dragon beast's plot in the novel, is the destiny villain, destined to be the stepping stone for the protagonist. In order to take care of the protagonist, the shackles that the heaven and earth's aura put on the body of the predecessor, the sky poison scorpion dragon, made him unable to break through, because its fate was already doomed. And now I am killing Xiao Fan forcefully and changing the original plot direction. Then the chains of the heaven and earth's air and the luck of the predecessor, the sky poison scorpion dragon beast, will be broken. So, I am the real me now. One thought of this. In Su Lai's eyes, there was a sharp control. After crossing over, he can be said to be winning step by step. For this battle, he borrowed one after another murder knives and exhausted his efforts. Now it seems that the harvest is equally huge. Cut Man Fan. Refining the 9th fire. With all kinds of terrifying general trends converging, Su Lai has finally formed his general trend at this moment. Even Su Lai's accumulation of this time is too profound. The 7th rank rivals the 8th rank, and he is even more reversible. Therefore, his breakthrough is no longer a simple breakthrough. After all, before this, Su Lai had reached the 7th level of consummation, and then fought against the king of the Scorpion Dragon clan, slashed Xiao Fan, and refined the complete 9th fire. Su Lai should have broken through the 8th level long ago. But because of the invisibly suppressed by the fate of his body, he was delayed in breaking through. Now, all conditions are ripe. Su Lai breaks through the 8th rank, it can be said that it is a real matter of course. Wow, at this moment, Su Lai's whole body, the endless energy is boiling, like a big wave. A breakthrough. In the star field, the endless star fire, as if attracted by Su Lai alone, rushed into Su Lai's body and was absorbed by him. Not long time, a mighty and terrifying pressure suddenly surged from Su Lai's body. Finally, Su Lai's eyes closed for a long time, suddenly opened, and the flames shone 4 times, which was a bit more oppressive than the previously refined 9th fire. 8. The Realm of the Venerable, Breakthrough. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.